So, actually about 3 weeks ago now, I gave what was the biggest speaking engagement of my speaking career so far. Which is, I officiated the wedding of my two best friends. And for some of you who've been here for a while, you've seen me give this over and over and over. I believe I've given this more than 10 speeches. But it paid off in the end. It went really well. And I'm really glad that I put all that work into it. So now I'd like to share with you some of the things that I've learned about this process, because it certainly was a big deal to me. I spent a lot of time. There was 110 people or so. So I treated it as it was. I had married people. I can't screw this up. So the first thing I want to share with you that I recommend that you do to improve your speaking skills is to not write everything out word for word ahead of time when you're working on your speech. When I was working on my wedding, I was agonizing over commas and punctuation, and I was going to have it printed out in my booklet, so I could read it in front of the audience. But it became so exhausting to every night to worry about grammar and punctuation. And I just thought, I just want to get up there and just talk. I'm so tired of working about the same thing over and over. So I wouldn't do what I'm doing right now, which is just make it up on the spot. But I also wouldn't agonize over everything and just write out your major points. So for example, I just have a couple points in my head, and I'm just going to try to work on my extemporaneous speaking, because I don't want speaking to ever be a tiring process, right? Now my next bit of advice would be to fail early and fail often. During the times when I was coming up here to talk, I was getting a lot of people kind of cutting into the feedback, which was very constructive. The thing I heard the most was that the humor wasn't working. Now I had tried to fit a couple of jokes into my speech, and again, I was shot down. It was just crickets. I didn't have a single laughter, a single chuckle from anybody. Tim in particular just laid into me and said, just take it out. Just take it out. And it stung. It was really hard for me to hear that it's not working. And in my head I was going, am I not funny? What's going on? And then I thought, I have to embrace failure. Because I can't get up there on the wedding day and I'll have this kind of failure. I can't fail my friends. But if I embrace failure as part of the speaking process, I can learn that failing is just the other side of the coin of succeeding. You have to fail early, fail often, so that you've done all your failing ahead of time, so that when the time comes and you really need to deliver, you can get up there and just kill it. Now, the last bit of advice I want to give you is to not go it alone. I advise all of you, if you're working on a very big engagement, is to get feedback as often as possible from your friends. Here at Toastmasters, but also run it past people in your close circle. And the reason I give this advice is because when I was working on this, I was trying to kind of work on it in secret from the couple. I was like, I'll surprise them. They'll just be amazed. And I hadn't run any of my content past the groom until finally one day I kind of ran some ideas past him. In particular, I ran this one joke that I thought about making, and the joke went something like this. The couple had recently had a car that had died, and my joke was, I was going to make a joke about the car being like a dead relative that couldn't quite make it to the wedding. I thought this would be kosher because I had checked with the couple first, hey, do you have any dead relatives you want to call into attention? They said no, nobody's dead, I thought, oh fine, I can make a dead relative joke. But so anyway, I'm talking to Max, who was the groom, and I said, how about, it went something like this. So there's one family member who couldn't be here tonight, and that is their 1989 Mercedes-Benz E-Class. And I'm like, oh, wouldn't that be so funny? And Max, he's kind of a big guy, so actually he's talking to him like this. So Max was like, Claire had that sister that died when she was very little. And I had totally forgotten about this. I froze on the spot. I'm sure some of you can relate where you've had that hot flash where your face gets hot and you think, wow, I almost said that, and that was almost a disaster. You know, crisis averted, but man, that could have been so bad. So get feedback, because if you think you're just going to nail it right away, you're going to be clever, you could have the best intentions and you could totally be off the mark. So thankfully, I took that part out, and there were no groaners, there were no crickets. Everything went really well. And now that I'm done with this was a ton of work. I'm just going to kick back and relax and try to just enjoy my speaking, do things in a more laid-back way, have drinks as often. I can drink again, because I was getting home like I can't have that beer, that glass of wine. I got to work on my speech. But I'm done with that. I have no big plans, so I'm just going to enjoy the summer. So, in conclusion, I would say fail early, fail often. Don't write out your whole speech ahead of time, and get feedback as soon as you can. Thank you.